Wake up, bitch. What's going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, I wanted to hop on today. To episode 4, more focused episode here, so I can throw it back into the pumps and what the fuck did I call that shit? Pixels and pumps. I wanted to talk about steroids. Anabolic steroids, anabolic androgenic steroids, the good stuff, the juice, the needle, the cheat code, if you will, on getting bigger, getting stronger, getting faster, because it's very popular nowadays. Nowadays, it's basically the cool thing to do, because it's like this double-edged sword, really, just getting into it with the whole, steroids. Like, back in the day, steroids, you never talked about it, right? They were frowned upon, it was not a thing that you wanted to be caught doing. Like, even back in the day, people like Arnold or popular bodybuilders would just deny the fact that they were on steroids. These insanely jacked dudes would deny taking steroids, which kind of makes sense at the end of the day, because it is illegal. So admitting to a crime openly is not something that I would recommend people do, right? If you're trying to avoid any sort of punishment or just that negative connotation that it had. It still has one. Like, there's still some people out there, the natty for lifers, that are very anti-steroid, and people look at you different. Some people do, which is fine. But like, even people who were clearly juicing, pro bodybuilders, powerlifters, strongmen, all these guys, you would deny the use of steroids. Again, it being a crime would, it could tarnish your reputation, all these sorts of things. So it kind of makes sense that they would lie. We'll come to the modern day, and it's pretty much done a full 180. Not entirely. You still have people that are denying it, your fake natties. That is one thing. That is shitty. I think there's a big difference between just not talking about it, which would probably be more so what happened. Like, the old schoolers just wouldn't talk about it. Again, I don't know my bodybuilding lore all too well. I don't know if people were asking it in interviews, but I think they were just, people knew that they existed, but I don't know if it was the same amount of, people going around asking, hey, you natty or not? You natty or not? Right. So it's one thing to just not talk about it, which I don't think is lying. You're just not talking about it, which is fine. There are things that I don't talk about all the time. It doesn't necessarily make me a liar. But the fake natty is definitely a problem. And if you're not natty at all, you're blasting, you're on gear, but you're claiming you're natural, that's fucked up, right? That's pretty fucked up, because that's just straight up lying and deception. And those people that do that, usually, they're selling a program or some sort of supplement line or whatever. Insert, do this here and you'll look like me. No need for steroids. And then they don't get to that point, and they're like, oh, maybe I need to buy more. Maybe I was only buying the protein. Now I need to buy the creatine. Oh, no, the protein and creatine ain't working. Now I got to buy the pre-workout. Right? That shit's ass. Don't do that. Don't be a fake natty. All right? That shit's lame. But again, nowadays, it's pretty much flipped entirely. Now you got, big bodybuilders out there like Noel, Diesel, however you say it. Diesel is the big, the forefather of it. Basically, people that have now been very open about their steroid usage and very transparent and saying, yeah, I take steroids. And Some people say what they take, some people don't. In my opinion, it's probably best to not say what you take, because unfortunately people will hear that and be like, oh, he takes this many milligrams of this and this many of that and that and this. So if I do that, I'll look like him. Which just isn't true, because everyone's genetics is different. Everyone's going to respond differently. Some compounds might affect you really bad. Some compounds might not affect you at all. It's not a good gauge to base what you're going to be injecting into your body based on what somebody else takes. And that's the same for not just people online, but trusting the biggest dude in the gym. He's like, bro, all you got to do is take 5 grams of gear a week and you're good to go. Sure, bud, that sounds like a great idea. Sarcasm. But this whole transparency thing, it's good. Like, the intent behind it was good. It wanted to send a message that was like, hey, kids, young adults, people, I look the way I do because I've been, well, really, a lot of it should be, is like, I look like this because of years of training, decades of training, and I take steroids. All right, that I think was a better way to go. But all in all, the intent behind it is very good. It's like, hey, I'm not going to lie to you. The reason I look like this, a contributing factor in my physique or my strength or whatever, is because I take performance-enhancing drugs. I take steroids, right? The intent behind that is very good and very pure. It's like, hey, I want to be open and honest. I don't want to give false expectations. This is why I look the way I am. Which, again, is really good intent. I believe that those people that did that, their heart is in the right spot. They want to be open. They don't want to lie. That's good. Unfortunately, what has happened now is because so many people are on steroids and they're getting all super jacked and they got big Instagram followings or big social followings. They drive the badass cars, you know, got their YouTube channel, got a whatever, 1 million subscribers. They're rich and famous, right? You see all these great things, you're like, oh, fuck, dude. I just need to hop on steroids, and then my life will be fantastic. And then I'll get big and strong, and the ladies will love me, and I'll be rich, and I'll have the nice car, and I'll get my brand deals, and it'll be good to go, and I'm set. Which that is a no-no. And instead of making people realize, oh, I'm not going to look like that because I'm natural, but I can work hard, okay? I can work hard and still look really good for being a Mr. Natural Man. Instead, it's turned into, oh, okay, I just need to take steroids. That'll solve the problem. Which is unfortunate, because now you have a lot of people hopping on the juice when I really don't think they should, right? Again, at the end of the day, I guess I haven't said this yet, so I don't know why I said it again, but at the end of the day, right, it's your body. I can't fucking tell you. I'm all for letting people do what they want to do, as long as they're not affecting anyone else, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. So if you want to inject steroids, or you want to do recreational drugs, or you want to gamble, or you want, like, right, whatever these things are, you want to drink, you want to, anything like that, you want to do these things, be my fucking guest. I don't care what you do with your body. As long as you're not fucking with other people, you do what the fuck you want, man. It's your body. You can make that decision. Who am I to tell you how to live your life, right? I don't want you telling me how to live my life. I'm not going to tell you how to live yours. But in my personal opinion, the amount of people that have been hopping on gear nowadays because of this transparency going on. I think a lot of these people had no business hopping on gear. Is really it, because like if you're gonna be a professional bodybuilder or power lifter, strongman, any sort of that stuff, like professional, that's gonna be your career path, or you want to compete at the highest level, it kind of makes sense to take those things, especially pro bodybuilders, like the most infamous ones. Like if you're gonna be an IFBB pro, you're not going to be an IFBB pro if you're natural. It's just not happening. And it's not because you're not great or you don't have great potential, but the dude from first place to fucking 30th place, I don't know how placings work. I don't actually watch like bodybuilding like that. All the way from the first to the guy that's dead last, guess what? They're all on fucking steroids. So if you think you're going to compete with these guys and be in top 5 conversation and not take drugs, you're kind of delulu. Which, honestly, I kind of used to be that, or I definitely used to be that way. I legitimately thought that you could go in the gym, eat right, lift weights, sleep, right, do your thing. And I was like, I'm going to be as big as Ronnie Coleman. I'm going to be as big as Jay Cutler. I'm going to be big as Dorian Yates. I'm going to be as big as Stan Efferding. Like all these big ass fucking dudes. I was like, I'm going to do that naturally. Because I thought they were natural. Not that they were like denying usage, at least not to my knowledge. They just didn't talk about it. So when I first got into lifting, whereas people nowadays are like, it's before they even get in the gym, they know they're all right, I'm going to train for a little bit. But once I cap out that genetic potential, we're hopping on the sauce. Because, I know I got to get, if I really want to get there, I got to hop on the sauce. Or in my head, I was like, bro, I'm going to be Dorian fucking Yates. And it was like, steroids were not even a thought in my mind. It was just like, I'm going to eat a lot. I'm going to train hard as fuck. And one day, I'll look like Dorian Yates. It never crossed my mind to fucking take steroids. Now, as I got more and more into the gym, learned more things, kind of looked at the stuff, started realizing steroids was, a thing. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but started realizing the amount of people that were actually on steroids. And I was like, oh, okay. Which, admittedly, for a good while, there was a long time where I was like, I want to hop on steroids, because the only thing that mattered to me, the only thing that was important, really not the only thing, but the most important thing, the thing that I cared about the most, and what seemed to be the only the one true thing that mattered above all, was getting big and fucking strong. It's lifting weights, getting jacked, tan, and juicy. And so I was like, I am gonna take steroids, and I'm gonna get super big, I'm gonna get super jacked, fucking cut, diced, all that stuff, right? And I was like, that's for me. That's what I'm gonna do. After some more consideration, right? At the moment, I don't intend to take steroids in the near future. Will I take them ever? I don't know. To answer your question honestly, that I asked myself, Christian, and nobody else did. Maybe. I don't know. I think so. I want to. Like, a big part of me still wants to take them. And that's some of the dangers about everyone being so transparent, is that some people do, but a lot of people don't talk about the negative effects of steroids. All you see them is being jacked and having this awesome life, this seemingly awesome life, and having all this fame and notoriety and money and brand deals and yada 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 yada. All right, you're pissing me off, guy. Speed up or get out of the way. Fucking hate people that do slower than I was going. Make it make sense, fucker. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. That shit bothers me. It's all hell. I'm driving. Somebody's inside of my asshole. Clearly they want to pass. So I get over. They pass. And then they decrease their speed back to what I was doing or slightly under. And I'm like, bro, what was the fucking point? You just didn't want a car in front of you? Well, then drive faster, fucker. And that's exactly what this fucking guy is doing. Anyway. But yeah, I've thought about it. I've considered it. I would probably consider myself still considering it. Because it does appeal to me. Because I still value fitness and being strong. Well, I don't know, fitness. You can't really call it health and fitness. You're taking steroids because you're not, you are openly, or no, you're choosing to do something that is known to have negative health consequences. And I've talked to so many people, and a lot of the reasons I've almost hopped on too, is I've talked to a lot of people and seen a lot of things online about people saying, oh yeah, you can do steroids safely. Like, you just gotta be smart about it, right? Don't go crazy, right? Get your blood work done, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and you can, taking steroids can 100% be safe. You know the safest way to take steroids? You don't fucking take them. That's the safest way to take steroids. Because at the end of the day, no matter how little you use, or what you use, or how regularly you get your blood work done, that may make it look like everything's fine and dandy. You really can't see what's going on. Like down at the cellular level, or like what's in your arteries, or like what the size of your heart is, and like all these different health implications. Yeah, you can do things to mitigate some risk, and there's a smarter way to go about doing it instead of just like, I'm gonna fucking take 2 grams of test a week, see what happens. Like, that's not good. But you can, there's a lot of negative stuff going on. Like, you can do it safer. You can hedge against some of the risk. You can take an educated risk, but if you want to maximize your health and your safety, you're not taking steroids. Just straight up, you're not. Like, I don't think I've ever heard, well, I guess with the fucking TRT epidemic going on, no, prior to that, I never heard anybody go, I think I'm gonna hop on some gear. I want to get a little healthier. I'm gonna hop on some steroids. Never heard that shit in my life. It's always, I want to get bigger, I want to get stronger, right? So, as of right now, I am a natty daddy. Well, I don't know if I would consider myself a natty daddy, because not now, and I haven't in a long time, but I've taken 3 total cycles of SARMs in my life, like 8-week cycles. I think it was about 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, something like that, of SARMs at different periods in my life. So that's definitely affected me in some way. Admittedly, SARMs is weird, very unregulated, so you don't know what you're actually getting a lot of the time. First time I ever took it, definitely noticed it. Got shreddy for Freddy. That was cool, because I had never been a shreds guy. I had always been dark and ominous. Yeah, I've never been a fellow that's super shredded. I've always been bigger, just not bigger, but like powerlifting. So my goal, it was never like physique. It was just getting stronger. And so when I was getting like pretty cut up while still working out, that was cool to see. Then the second cycle I did, I don't even remember what it was, but I didn't do do jack shit. Honestly, I didn't notice a difference at all with that. And I was like, all right, cool, that was a waste. And then I did another cycle, and I just got fucking, I got big and strong. That shit was cool. But again, that probably did some damage to me, right? A lot of people were like, oh, it's like SARM goblins, you know, that's the new trend. That's cool, because it's like, oh, I can do steroids with none of the negative health consequences. Hey, dumbass. SARMs have negative health consequences. Just because some fucking blog post or some influencer or whatever tells you, like, these are safe steroids, they don't have negative side effects. They're going to make you bigger, stronger, leaner, faster, and do all these things that steroids do, but you're not going to get any of the negative side effects. No, here's what's going to happen. You're definitely not going to get as big of results as if you were just taking regular steroids, right? So you're not going to have the same results. You're still going to do damage to your body. And a lot of time, especially, you're going to do more damage to your liver because you're taking orals instead of injecting. So, you know. But I knew that. I wasn't... At first, I was like, oh, they don't have the negative side effects. Cool. And then I read more, and it was like, no, they will. And I accepted that. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I just want to get big and strong. So I was like, that's fine. I accept that. Like, you'll probably have less negative side effects. I will say that shit fucked with my ding-dong, and that's why I don't do them anymore. I didn't like that, because I would do a cycle, get big and strong, get fucking rock-hard boners, and then when I came off after those like 8-10 weeks or whatever, shit would stop working for a few days up to a week. And I was like, I am not dealing with that, because I like my wiener working. So I was like, not doing that shit again. And then I did it 2 more times. But really, after that, I was like, okay, yeah, I was like, fuck this. That's like the first time. Maybe I was trying to convince myself. I was like, the first time was just a fluke. And I was like, fucking, yeah, we'll see. Or maybe I just forgot that feeling, because that's a freaky feeling. Like, I don't think you realize that shit, but like, when your dick stops working, that's kind of scary. Because you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's just, again, being adults, that's part of, adult life. People have sex. And if your dick doesn't work, that's kind of fucking freaky, man. Like, it scared me. I was like, did I just fuck myself up, dude, forever? I was like, am I gonna have to be fucking taking Viagra or like, whatever it is? I was like, man, dude, did I just fuck myself? I was like, no, because your dick's soft. You didn't fuck yourself. But yeah, so not technically natty, I guess. But I've never done steroids. True steroids. So, and I don't know if I ever will. The older I get, I feel like when you're young and dumb, right? You're just like fucking hop on. Like if you want to be a pro bodybuilder, you have aspirations to do stuff like that, pro athlete in any way, then yeah, you'll probably need to consider gear at some point. Unless you just have the freakiest of genetics. I'm talking like Ronnie Coleman plus genetics. Like you are just a fucking freak. Well, then maybe you won't need to do that, right? Got a buddy who's going for his pro card right now, and he's natty, so he says. I believe him. He's a dude with high integrity. He's a freak, but he's got freak genetics, so he's fucking big. But I just don't see the need to be an electrician in my case, or work at an office job, or be a fucking accountant on the juice. It doesn't make sense. And like being jacked is cool, but it's like in my head it's almost cooler because it's like I have come nowhere close to tapping into my genetic. If you're gonna take steroids, again, It's your body, your choice. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. But if you want to take steroids and you're not competing and you're not jumping into it super early because you know, like, I'm going to be a pro bodybuilder, I'm going to hop on this shit, I'm going to get big and huge. Like, minimum 10 years you should train. And, like, really, like, not just like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym for 10 years, but, like, fucking train, like, on your shit. Like, you work out hard, you fucking continually get better. You are on your nutrition. You get your sleep, right? You do that stuff. Take some supplements if you don't want. If you want to, you don't have to. You know, fucking creatine, protein, whatever, right? You don't need to, but you can. I take that stuff. It helps. It's convenient. Really on your shit for a decade, for 10 fucking years, and then you decide, I want to hop on steroids. Okay. Again, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can start the first time you ever step into a gym, you're just like, I'm just going to do steroids. Alright, dude, fucking knock yourself out. I don't care. But what I think is probably best for you is to not do that. And again, take a full fucking decade. So I've only been working out for 7.5 years. So I got 2.5 more years before I cross that bridge. And when I made this deal with myself at like around the 5-year mark, I was like, all right, in 5 years, in my head, it was like, all right, in 5 years, I'm hopping on fucking gear. In 5 years, I can finally get the progress I want. I can be fucking jacked. And the closer and closer I get to that 10-year mark, and I'm kind of going the other way. I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I want to, right? Things have changed. Got a family. So I want to be around as long as I possibly can for them. I want to be healthy. It's steroids are expensive. So priorities shift. And I am also still making progress. I'm not stalling out. You know, you get these like couple weeks or a month or whatever where you kind of hit a plateau, but then you try a new technique or you take a deload or you do whatever, you start getting better sleep and do all this and that, and then progress keeps going. Try different exercises maybe, and then you keep moving forward. So the closer and closer I get to that 10-year mark, the less likely it seems that I'm going to be doing these steroids, but you never know. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the matter. Curious what y'all think about steroids. Are y'all on them? Do you like it? Do you regret it? Would you ever try them? Let me know down below. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you. Appreciate you. You know, drop me a like and a comment. Maybe a subscribe if you're into that kind of thing. That'd be dope. But yeah, and let me know what I want to talk about next. I kind of need to get back into this Pixels and Pumps podcast. So any games y'all want me to talk about or any topics in the gaming industry, fitness industry, want me giving my thoughts and opinions, maybe exercises, what my training split is, anything like that y'all want to hear me talk about, let me know down below. Have a great day. Love ya. Peace.